So yesterday we discussed how Johnny Cage was nerfed to the ground, but the good news is all those plus frames went to Cassie, along with a bunch of other buffs as well, especially for her variation 3. So if you're looking for a new rushdown character, then Cassie Cage might be your girl. Without any further ado, let's discuss her new changes step by step. Alright, so for starters, when Cassie Cage blocks, her hit region is a bit bigger, so now she won't escape as many things on block. It's just a bit more normal. She still has a low hitting female hitbox when it comes to blocking, but she can't avoid certain moves that other characters could while she crouch blocks. And next up, her wake up 3 is a lot better now. So it's 9 frames on startup instead of 13, and also recovers 5 frames faster on hit. So look at that, she has plus 14. So I guess they took away all the frame advantage of Johnny and just gave it to Cassie, because now this stuff is pretty much guaranteed. If she's closer, she can do that, but from mid-screen, she still gets like this back too, because that's 11 frames. This is all guaranteed stuff. In fact, how plus is she? Like plus 14 or something? Yeah, that's pretty much a guaranteed dash into throw actually if you have the opponent cornered. That's some really good plus frames, my goodness. So if she lands a wake up 3, it's just her turn. You have to hold that. And also it has a better hit region, which pretty much just means it's more likely to hit the opponent and not miss. My gosh, so she just has a really good wake up 3 now. Okay, but this next change actually cracks me up because they tried really hard to make flipping out better and more viable, because I've made a list on the worst attacks in the game and everyone agrees, not just me, that this is one of the worst moves in the entire game, not just for Cassie. However, now this move recovers 13 frames faster and has 10 more frames of block stun and has more pushback on block as well. So I suppose in theory that should mean that if they block the projectile, it's now your turn. Let's try and test that. Okay, so it's -3 if they block the second projectile. Okay, I'm just gonna tell her to block completely because I'm having trouble with this right now. So, oh, but the second one can still miss and then you're fully punishable. And there's also that sweet spot where both of them miss. So I don't know, NetherRealm. I don't think you realize why this move is bad. Like, for one thing, they can hit you on the way up. Like, guaranteed, especially characters like Devora. So you may think, oh, I'll just keep myself safe, but that's not even a problem for Cassie. What she does is already safe. She has so many safe strings. She doesn't even need this move to keep her safe. I guess in theory, like, if you're cornered, you can cancel into this and escape the corner while only being -3. If the opponent falls asleep and just, you know, blocks this and doesn't try to interrupt you or avoid the bullets and all that good stuff. And God forbid you land the first one and not the second one, because then you're punishable anyway. But you know what? I'll give credit where it's due. At least they tried to make this move a bit more viable and didn't just let it stay awful like that weird voodoo doll move that Scarlet has, which is still terrible, and by the way, it wasn't touched at all, so still one of the worst moves in the entire game. But not Cassie. NetherRealm loves her, so she gets some much deserved changes to her worst move, and it's not the changes that I think it needed, but at least she got something. And now, just like Johnny Cage, Ball Buster can now be low parried and high parried. So once again, she ducks high attacks and hits a bit lower, so it can be low parried now. It's just one of those ways that NetherRealm is trying to normalize the game and make it work consistently across the board. And the rest of these changes are pretty much all for variation 3, so I think NetherRealm recognized this was one of her worst variations, and in fact one of the worst variations in the game, so they're just trying to make it better so it gets a bit more love. So for starters, the retreat and advance options now don't cost any bar. And that's a good decision, but what's funny about this is it was already the case until they nerfed it. So before they added variation 3 as an option, this move existed for custom combat and it didn't cost meter to do this. But then when it came time for this move to be competitive, they said no, let's make it cost defensive bar, let's take away your breakaway by using this move and make it almost useless. However, since this move no longer costs meter, I think it's quite viable, so let's talk about how to use it real quick. So if you land any of these strings on screen, it's pretty much guaranteed pressure. If the opponent does anything, presses any buttons, you are guaranteed a counter hit. And to make things even better, once they block that jump in, boom, you're +5, baby. And if you delay it a bit, you're actually even more plus, but if you delay it, keep in mind they could try to interrupt you. But even if you do the jumping punch as early as possible, you're still at the very least at +5, which means you can just do this string again. It's 9 frames on startup and it's a mid, so the opponent can't avoid this, they have to deal with it. And just like before, if they press any buttons, it's a guaranteed counter hit. And I find that popping bubbles is the best string simply because it's a mid and it's 9 frames, so super fast. Military Dance starts off low and it also has a ton of hit advantage, and the spacing is also just perfect. So if you land this, boop. Once again, they can't interrupt you and it's guaranteed pressure at +5. And military dance is also safe on block as well. It's just not nearly as fast, so it has to be either a whiff punish or the opponent is just blocking high like an idiot and you catch them low. And last but not least, hooks and hammers also works. It's very plus on hit and has perfect knockback, so once again guaranteed pressure. But here's the issue, hooks and hammers is actually 10 frames on startup and a high attack, so I don't see any reason to use it over popping bubbles. That string is still your best option, but I thought I would just include it because it also works. And you actually don't have to go for a jumping punch, you could also go for a jumping kick. It's not quite as positive, but if the jumping kick lands, you can buffer in a special move before you hit the ground. If the opponent gets hit by the kick, the special move comes out. If they block, you're still safe because the special move will not come out. But for me, it's all about pressure. You go for that hit confirm. If you see them land, cancel into this, do the jumping punch on the way down, you're at +5. You can just go for it again and they have to deal with it, or start sneaking in some throws. Once again, you are at +5 and they have to deal with you. So once you've trained the opponent to block, you can start sneaking in those throws. And of course, flying away on hit can also be a great way to retreat and just fall back on some zoning. And from what I've tested, the characters with fast teleports can't even get to you in time before you can block. That hit stun is actually quite deceptive. They're staggered for a very long time. So if you land any of these strings and you just want to run away and do some zoning in this variation, you certainly have that option as well. So if keep away is more your style, that could also work super well because Cassie is already a very strong footsie character. So you land your hit, you run away, and now it's projectile time and the opponent has to work their way back in. In summary, these flight options are now a lot more viable, but now back to the patch notes. And next up, flying glow kick now does more damage, 80 instead of 60, and oddly enough, it can be cancelled into fatal blow. What? Is that a thing for anybody else in the game? Like, can any other character do a special move into fatal blow? Or is that just a Cassie Cage thing? Now, you must do the far version, just be warned, otherwise this will not work. But look at that, she gets some pretty decent damage just doing it raw. So what happens when you combo into it? Oh my god, that's such easy damage, 43% off of this string, which is completely safe on block and one of her best whiff punishes. It's not even that damaging either, she has more damaging starters. I think this is oddly enough one of her most damaging ones. How much damage does this do? Oh my god, she's just getting 45% now just for a simple punish. So if you're fighting Cassie, don't do anything -8 or more on block. She'll just do this, fart this out, and then do a fatal blow and get some crazy damage. And there are better combos for sure, but keeping them short and sweet is the name of the game. Because even then you get some crazy damage combos. One punish and the opponent's half dead in this variation. And honestly, this change is actually pretty smart because Cassie Cage does not have her special moves that normally extend combos, which means she's not going to get the damage she normally does. So having an increased damage fatal blow combo is actually pretty sick and really smart. Good job, NetherRealm. That was a good decision. But we're still not done because this move is also her new armor breaking move. So if the opponent goes for a breakaway, flying glow kick will crushing blow, and look at that, 40%. Now it was 2 crushing blows back to back, but just keep that in mind. If your opponent loves to break away, catch him with this, get that crushing blow. The damage is pretty good, and by the way, the regular crushing blow was also good. It was just counter hit, and that's pretty strong just because this move is already only -8. So if you space it properly, like around here, it's already unpunishable, so very low risk and super high reward for this move as it is, but now it also breaks armor for a crushing blow. And wait a minute, I just realized something. So what if I'm low on health and I have access to fatal blow and then I break armor? Can I just break the armor and go into fatal blow? Oh my god, you can. Look at this, it's gonna hurt so bad. Oh my god, I didn't know we were playing Guilty Gear. Look at this damage, what is going on? Nice booty, Devora. What is going on here with this damage? That was over half health. Now, it was a crushing blow to be fair, and the opponent had to be stupid and go for a breakaway, but just look at that. If you go for crushing blow, and then this, and then super, you're getting all that damage. Oh my goodness, if they're already half dead, it's a guaranteed win. That's crazy. And then last but not least, the air version of Cassie's fatal blow is the same speed as her regular fatal blow. So look at that, 32, 32. So before, she hung in the air for a very long time, and I can tell you why they made this change. It's because of this. They wanted this to easily combo into this fatal blow, so now the air version is just as fast. And then to make things just a bit better, it also has a better hit region now, so it shouldn't miss in situations where it used to in the past. So she just gets a buffed fatal blow, like straight up. And I like this change because the air fatal blow being slow didn't make much sense to me, especially when you consider it's like the only fatal blow that can be done in the air, so that's just really cool. Hashtag rest in peace Takeda, he had that too. But yeah, she can be done on the ground and in the air, but you had like no reason to ever do it in the air. Now you you do for canceling after this, and also just for, you know, being fast. It's a good whiff punish now. You can jump to avoid something, then smack him with the fatal blow. It's more than fast enough now. But yeah, that's about it for the changes, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It really does help my channel out a ton. And while you're down there, please post your comments on these changes and how you feel about them. And finally, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.